Hey folks, John from Complete Technology Solutions, your friend in the computer business, coming to you from the Cattle Barn. Hey again folks. So today's episode, I get a lot of gifts from customers and from past acquaintances and people that are also very interested in technology. One of my big passions, obviously I deal with newer technology quite a bit. I do build new gaming machines. I do stay on top of it, watching the same channels you do, dealing with the same technology you do, testing, overclocking and upgrading, everything the same. But I have a passion for old retro computers. So I've noticed that a lot of the times I'll fix a client's computer, we'll be talking about it, and all of a sudden they'll show up one weekend and have a couple of new toys for me. So on today's episode, I wanted to kind of give you an idea. I had a few items that came in actually last weekend, as a matter of fact, from just different people randomly coming in saying, I heard you like retro computers and I figured you might get a kick out of this. So the first item that I received was actually kind of interesting. Now this is a Texas Instruments TI-99. Now, for those of you who don't know, anything from the 70s and 80s is going to hit pretty solid for me because that's where I very first started. My first computers were back in the 70s, so they mean a lot to me. Now, I haven't even had a chance to take a look at what's in this box, but we're going to go ahead and take a peek real quick. Oh, we got a lot of stuff in here. Alright, so it looks like we've got some original manuals. And it looks like we've got what looks like a flyer. Oh, it's an annual membership to the Computer Advantage Club. I think I might be a little expired on that membership. I'll look into it though. We got the Texas Instruments Home Computer Program Library. And look who's on the cover. So this might actually be a collector's item. I've never actually seen this book from 1982, but we're going to look into that too. User's reference guide for the TI-99 4A. As you can see, there are a bunch of programs, just like the Commodore used to do. They put a lot of programs in here so that users could jump on there and just start programming their own small programs, kind of introduce them to basic graphics, basic computers, basic sprites, so on and so forth. And it looks like we've got speaking of which, a basics computer guide. So this is actually the exact same thing. It's just a bunch of different programming languages and different programs that can be programmed. Alright, looks like we also have in here a serial connection. Oh, I know what this is. This is the serial connection that would go to the tape deck that would come with this. So in order to load programs, when this computer came out, at this time floppy drives that did exist were prohibitively expensive, so people were still using tape drives. So this would be the cable you would connect via serial port directly into your tape deck for loading programs. Alright, everybody knows the wonderful VHF converter to actually get the signal onto an old school television. And I don't have one of those, so I'll have to get an adapter so we can actually get this tested out at some point. And it looks like we've also got the power brick itself. There she is right there. And it's been safety checked. I'll bet you once again that one's expired by a bit. Alright. Oh, and there she is. TI-99 herself. And actually, folks, this is in really, really good shape. It needs to be cleaned up a little bit. I'll probably do a little bit of restoration on this. But overall, the plastics look really good. There's no cracks that I can see. No fading. Keyboard feels nice. Now, you're going to have a lot of people that, when they deal with mechanical keyboards, particularly the old, like PC Juniors, any of the old Tandies, that heavy mechanical feel, that big click when you hit the buttons, that's cool and all. But I've always preferred these TIs. Now, some people say they're too mushy. They are too small, especially for my hands. I pretty much can take over the whole thing. But I like the feel of the buttons. So that's one of the computers that came in. And it looks like we do have a couple of the keyboard templates in here that would actually go over the top of the keys for different programs. Alright. And we'll put this all back in here. Now this is going to be on a future video. I will do some restoration on this, and I will get her up online and we'll get something on screen and play around with it a little bit. Good luck finding some cartridges, but I think I actually have a lead on that, so once again I will keep you posted. Alright. next computer that came in, now this was a surprise. This one actually came from another vendor here at the cattle barn. And we did a little bit of trading on some items, and he said, hey, while you're at it, look what I've got under my table. Now, that's something that happens a lot here, by the way. So if you ever do come out here, you never really know what you're going to find because it changes quite a bit. So this is actually an Atari 800 computer. Now, once again, I have not opened this box. I don't know what all is in this box. We're going to take a look and find out together. So it looks like the outside is a little rough for wear. We're going to try to take it off as gently as we can to conserve what's left of it. Alrighty. The styrofoam's in pretty decent shape. Oh, there we go. Get to the meat and potatoes here. Alright, so this is the Atari 800. Now once again, this computer looks like it's in pretty darn good shape. Now this one, unlike the other one, you've got exactly one video output on this. And of course, it feeds and it's all sort of molded to the styrofoam, tell you how long it's been in this box. It's actually funny, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but if you look at this, you can actually see the molds where this cable has settled in and just like basically bonded with it along with that little spider. I think he probably came with it when they bought the TI. So here is the actual Atari power brick. It's always good to see anything with the Atari logo on it. Like it's in pretty good shape. Haven't tested it though. And the machine itself. So, a lot of people don't know, this actually uses a totally different cartridge. Now, it's actually got two cartridge slots inside of it. They're smaller cartridges, so while they may look a little like the 2600 or the 7800, they are not. They are actually much smaller cartridges. I do have a line on a few cartridges for this that we're going to be able to use for testing on this and for a future video as well. But it feels like, and I love that system reset button. You know, I don't know why, but I've always kind of been fond of that particular button. So, feels like the keys are in pretty good shape. It needs good cleaning, so we'll be doing a restoration on this too at some point on a future video. So you can keep posted for that one as well. Yeah, these old computers, I tell you. You know, when I do these unboxings and get these gifts from clients, the neatest thing about it to me is the stories that they tell. I mean, you know, who knows what programs were programmed on this or what was done on this computer in the past or what games were played or who cut their teeth in IT on this computer and as a result it turned into a blossoming career. That's the really cool thing about these. I've always loved that about these old computers. If you can't tell, I am a little passionate about it, so hopefully that'll bleed through and you guys will get the idea. So once again, we're going to try to maintain as much of the integrity on this dissolving box as we can. And I actually have a line on another box cover for this. The sleeve is pretty rough. And the previous owner said that, you know, at one point it was in perfect shape. Well, of course, but he said that, you know, through people opening it over and over and over again and just constantly messing with it, eventually it devolved into this. So, just a warning, guys, if you're ever out and you see these computers, and I know all of you know this, but take care. You know, there's a lot of history in these boxes, and they're not making them anymore. You know, it's a piece that we'll never get back. So, take care when you're taking a look at it. So, the next piece of computer technology that came along is a Commodore Plus 4. Now, I'm pretty sure that almost everybody out there knows about this. This was one of Commodore's attempts to really jumpstart their business machine. They wanted to get out there and show people that their machines were for more than just gaming. And they were. Their machines would actually do quite a bit. This one actually had 4 pieces of software built into it. So you had a word processor, a spreadsheet, a graphics program, and a data management program. So, now some people would call that a spreadsheet, but back in the day. Let's see what we've got in this box. Alright, got some more paperwork it looks like here. The important, it is in your warranty registration. Alright, so I don't know if this computer's under warranty. Yeah, I'm probably betting it isn't. Alright, let's see here. You can get 4 of the most popular software programs in one package. You know, this is interesting, guys. Like I said, I haven't opened any of these boxes. This flyer always blew my mind about this particular computer. And the reason it did is because you just bought the computer. You wanted the computer. So in the box they send you a flyer about the computer. This is essentially an advertisement. And it shows you everything that you've got on the computer that you just bought. So, interesting advertising choice for Commodore. We have a Commodore Publications, this is great, a magazine subscription form. Let's see, I wonder if I sent this to Box 651 in Holmes, Pennsylvania, what I'd get back. Probably return mail back, yes. And we have the Commodore Authorized Warranty Repair Locations by state. I'm fairly certain that probably none of them are still around, yeah. But I do know a lot of people on the internet. One of my favorite YouTubers, in fact, his name is the 8-Bit Guy. If you get a chance, check out his channel. He was a big part of the reason I got back into my channel and started broadcasting again. So I'll put a link to his down here in the description. Wonderful guy. The way he describes things kind of brings you into the story also. So it's very fun. He's a great guy to talk to. I probably won't have to have this warranty repaired, but if I ever did and it's something that I couldn't do, that'd be the guy I'd take it to. Alright, so we got this little box here. Oh, big old monster power brick. Oh yeah, there's that Commodore logo we all come to love so much. And physically the power brick looks good. Of course that means nothing, we'll have to see. And back to that fantastic antenna converter. So, exact same connection. I do actually have an older TV that I'm going to be using here. In fact, I think I may have an original Commodore monitor that I'll be able to use to test a lot of these computers, because that's one thing they do have in common is that connection. So I'm going to do a little looking. I'll see if I can dig something up. Get back with you when we start doing those videos. And there she is. All right. That's actually a pretty cool piece of foam. It slides in forward to lock it in place. I think I'll make sure I'm careful with that. The Commodore Plus 4. Now, you know, compared to a lot of the computers of the day, these are just the size of them and the feel of them. They feel so well built. You know, you would think it'd be real light, but you can feel some weight to this. It actually does have a lot of weight to it. See, now that shift lock was on, so I wonder what they were working on last time. I guess we'll find out someday. So, the 4 integrated programs were actually accessed by hitting the Commodore key and pressing one of the corresponding function keys, and that would launch you into the business program that was installed on the machine. There were also options for, on the back, a cartridge, so you could actually use standard cartridges on this, as well as a user interface port. You also had both your joystick ports, your video ports, and of course, as you have to have your power port. So, this is a great machine. I actually cannot wait to dig into this thing and see if it works. That's my primary thing. I've been told that it does and it works well. So we're going to clean it up a little bit, but overall it doesn't need a whole lot of work. So, yeah, maybe a little bit. But that's for another video. We'll get back to that. All right. Yeah, this is these Commodores. I tell you, I have this soft spot in my heart for these things because I was young, you know. Back when these all came out, I was in my before 10 through about 13-year age. Oh yeah. All right, and moving right along to the last donation for the day. And I hate to say this, but the truth is I do feel that I saved the best for last in this. Alright, so, I hate to say this, but the truth is I do feel like I saved the best for last. Granted, this is a personal opinion. Probably an opinion a lot of you do share though. The last one that came in was an original Commodore VIC-20. Now, I'm fairly certain that everybody that's watching this channel knows the absolute legendary history of the Commodore computers. And aside from the Commodore PET, which I don't have one of those, we'll talk about that later, but this was the one that really launched them into the stratosphere. This brought home computing into the home, and that was a special thing back then. So let's take a look. I have no idea what's in this box, but I can tell you it's heavy, and it was most assuredly not just a Commodore, so we'll take a look. Alright, looks like we've we've got a few things in this bag. Let's see what we got in here. Congratulations, your new hardware has just come. Fairly certain that didn't come with it. Oh, now that's interesting. Alright guys, this is the original purchase receipt for this Commodore VIC-20. Wow. And as you can see, let's see here, it looks like it was on January 4th, 1984. He paid $50 for this computer. Some place called Jamesway. So I'm not sure what that is, but there you are. That's actually a pretty cool piece of history. I'm going to make sure that that gets saved. Looks like the rest of this is just trash, so we'll set that aside. Alright, looky here. Looks like first we get a few games here. Looks like we got Adventureland for the Commodore. Actually, we got two of those. Guess we're going on a double adventure, aren't we? Now, for those who don't know, Adventureland was actually one of the text-based games. We were really big back in there. You know, we didn't have flashy graphics and super high-end video cards and three-dimensional images, and we certainly didn't have virtual reality. What we had was great games, though. These actually force you to use your mind. You built the images in your mind as you were playing the story. And Adventureland, I'm proud to say, was one that I actually did beat without having to cheat, like on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or Zork. So, this one was great. Alright, what else we got here? Omega Race, okay. Omega Race. This game was one that also put them on the map. It was the first one that, in my mind, felt fluid. As you were manipulating your little ship around a square in the center and shooting really fast. I always found it's best to kind of stay in one spot and let them come to you, but I've seen people that would just soar around a little square. Now, when I do this video, I'm going to try to cut in some gameplay of Omega Race. I know that there are several people out there that have got full videos on it, but if you haven't seen it, it's a great game. Even today, by today's standard, it's a great game. So check that one out. Here we go. This is Gorf. Now, for those who don't know, Gorf was the prelude to Galaxian, which was the prelude to Galaga. So we all know Galaga. If you don't know Galaga, go play Galaga. It's fantastic. If you don't know Galaxian, go play Galaxian. It was also, you can see where everything from Galaga came from. And if you don't know Gorf, you have to try it. This game was revolutionary for its time. Fantastic graphics, a lot of stuff moving on screen all the time. And it was hard. It really challenged you. So that was a good game. And one I don't know. This is called Voodoo Castle. Now, Voodoo Castle, never played it. Never heard of it. I'm going to look it up tonight, though. I know it's made in Hong Kong, so that's kind of interesting. Now, one thing I did notice was interesting that I wanted to mention, on some of these cartridges, you actually had to type an assist command and hit the return key before starting the adventure. The reason for that was the background colors were so washed out that it made it a lot easier to read. So that was one of the things you had to do first. Right off the bat, it would change the color scheme, then you were able to play it and actually see everything. So you'll see a lot of cartridges that are like that. Only these two Adventurelands have it in this case. So, alright. Wow. Alright, so we have got what looks like an Atari 2600 joystick. The actual, see it is, it's an Atari 2600 serial joystick. And man, it feels new. Wow. Yeah, that's not a reproduction, that's an original. Thank you very much, Lloyd. Looking at you out there, man. That's wonderful. I'll use that on pretty much everything here when we start playing around with them. That's great. Alright, got the power brick for the Commodore. There we go. Alright, now, let you know a little secret. We will probably not be using this power brick. Something I was told about this particular computer, it does not work. There's an issue with the motherboard. Powers up, light comes on, no video comes out. We've tried different sources, they've tried different cartridges, nothing will come out of this. So, at this point, it's a dead board. Now, we'll get back to that one here in just a second. So, alright, we've got two adapters for the TVs. I do have another TV, I think I mentioned that earlier. We probably won't be throwing them up on the old LG here, but we shall see. We'll figure that out later. I may be able to get an adapter to put it on this. I've heard you can. I've seen one cable, so perhaps we'll have one. Oh, here she is. The Commodore VIC-20. Man, that is a good shave. All right, so prepare the collective cringe out there. Now this computer does hold a very special place in my heart. This was my first computer. Not this particular one, but this model. I spent hours and hours and hours of my life behind the keyboard on this machine, learning how to program. My very first experience in programming anything was with the VIC-20, and that's because I didn't have a tape drive. I didn't have any way to load software. I had all of one cartridge at the time, and I wanted to learn how to do it. So this is the one that really got me into the business. Now, I know a lot of you on one of the videos heard me refer to a term called baking a pie. What we're going to do is a little bit of a challenge. You probably have seen some RetroPie episodes where they are putting in the Raspberry Pi computers into a Commodore 64. Now, we're actually going to do this with a Commodore VIC-20 with a couple of twists to it. When I do this, I'm going to make sure that the only games and software available are the basic that came with the Commodore and games that were specifically designed for Commodore VIC-20 or Commodore 64. So essentially, this will be an emulation machine, but it will only run Commodore. That's what I'm shooting for, that's what we're going to do. Now we'll be covering up all of these back panels and ports, but I will tell you that I have purchased the items to convert this, and this was all online. I found everything I needed to do to convert this so it converts it properly. With a couple of exceptions, we're going to make a couple modifications to what a lot of people do online. So stay tuned for that video. It will be coming sooner than later, I promise you. So this VIC-20 is, just looking at it, really kind of warms my soul. It really does. It was a big part of my life. It really was. So we'll put all this back in here. Once again, I want to thank everybody that donated. I do accept some donations, so if you've got older computers that are laying around that you'd like to see on the channel, let me know. I will certainly do videos on them. If you just don't want them laying around anymore, bring them over to me. I'll certainly find use for them, or they'll make it into my museum collection. Now, granted, my collection is growing, and at some point my wife will probably kick me out over it, but, you know, these mean a lot to me. Not letting this legacy and this history die is very important to me. It really is. So, well, thank you for watching, folks. I really do appreciate it. We will be seeing you sooner rather than later with the projects on all 4 of these wonderful, wonderful machines. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and I hope we'll talk to you in the future. Have a good one.